I'm well aware that the title of this video probably looks like some half-hearted attempt to stir up some controversy and get some views, but I promise you I have a story to tell. Hello, my name is Roland K. Smith. If this is your first time here, I'm a social media manager and digital content creator. Please give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, it'll help me out a whole bunch. My first smartphone was the iPhone 3G, and yeah, it blew my mind. I can't remember what phone I had before that, probably a Nokia something. Anyway, never had an Apple product before, got the iPhone 3G, loved it. 2 years later, got the 4, loved it. 2 years later, got the 5, loved it. By the time it came around to upgrading again, I was getting a bit sick and tired of iOS, and I was hearing of all of these great things that Android phones could do. So I did a bit of research, and by a bit of research, I meant watch a bunch of MKBHD videos. And I ended up purchasing the Samsung Galaxy Note 4, and wow, mind blown again. The first thing I remember being impressed by was the screen. It was really high res and beautiful. I think it was an OLED. And now I could also change the battery and expand my storage. And I could suddenly do all of the things that you could do with open source software that you couldn't do inside of Apple's beautiful walled garden. See, back then, Apple didn't give you the option to change default apps, didn't have home screen widgets, didn't have picture-in-picture, and didn't have an app library. And the hardware wasn't particularly interesting either. There was no OLED, there was no fast charging, there was no wireless charging, there was no tap to wake. So I fell for Android hard. I was downloading all of the app icon packs, all of the launchers, and tinkering with the settings to my little heart's content. Up until that point, I had never been particularly interested or engaged with the tech world. I suddenly realized the possibilities of consumer tech, and if I did a little bit of research and learned a few things about computers, then I could have a much better experience, or at least an experience that was much better suited to me. Now, I didn't have the Samsung Galaxy Note 4 for long because I started becoming interested in other devices from other manufacturers. I had the Nexus 6P, the Nexus 5X, the OnePlus 3, the Pixel 2, the Samsung S6, the Samsung S6 Edge. I even sold my MacBook and my iPad and replaced it with the Nexus 7 and the Microsoft Surface Book. Anyway, skip ahead to 2017 and I just started freelancing full time and I needed to upgrade my phone plan to get more data. I went to my carrier and they ended up basically giving me an iPhone 7 for free. So I was back on iOS, but I was still using Android. I think it was the OG Google Pixel at this point. And I started to find that the iPhone was just a little bit more reliable, especially for my professional work. It seemed that a lot of my clients were on iPhone, so communicating through iMessage and then sharing files through AirDrop was just a really convenient way to do things. And I started to realize that the social media experience on Android was a little bit lacking. For example, the photos and text on Instagram were blurry and pixelated on the Android version, where on the iOS version they were really clear. And I now know why. It's because there are so many Android devices out there that for Instagram to optimize their app for every device would be a nightmare. So Android users are left with this second-rate social media experience, and it sucks. And I became accustomed to iPhone's buttery smooth UI, and moving back to Android felt like this sort of janky experience. And even now, while Android is much better, it still feels like a work in progress, where iOS is just really mature. All of this was enough for me to start using the iPhone more and more and the Pixel less and less. Though I did upgrade to the Pixel 2, but that turned out to be the final nail in the Android coffin. The Pixel 2 was famous for its issues: the dull screen, the battery issues, the rattly noise in the earpiece, the Wi-Fi problems, the Bluetooth problems. And I experienced a bunch of those, so I got rid of the Pixel 2 as soon as I could. And I've been happily using iPhone ever since. Look, the iPhone's not perfect. It's kind of a boring phone. You can get tired of the software really quickly, and the features don't get upgraded anywhere nearly as quickly as they should. What are we waiting on now? Probably heaps of stuff. Android users, tell me in the comments what we're waiting on. What is iPhone going to rip off from you guys next? But where it's at now, with the iPhone SE, the iPhone 12 mini, the iPhone 12, the iPhone 12 Pro, and the iPhone 12 Max, you can get into the iOS ecosystem at any price point, and you have access to a great selection of apps, a really mature operating system, and a decent device that's going to last you a long time. Now, I've got to say, I really miss Android, and I imagine that I will end up back there one day. But just for now, I'm sticking with the iPhone. Let me know in the comments what you're using, but you know, play nice. And until the next video, keep doing what you're doing.